Hello everyone and welcome to Snakes on the Plains. Tonight I'm going to be showing you how to thaw properly frozen thawed and how to feed it without harming your snake or making the rat or any rodent that you are feeding go to waste. Now first things first, if you guys do have any other pets in the house, like little Jade here, say hi Jade. Just make sure that they aren't in the same room as you're feeding. You never know what could happen, even if your animals are in racks like ours are. You just don't want to take the chance, right buddy? Yeah. So we're gonna get things set up. Now you want to make sure that the water that you have is hot but is not boiling, because if you have your water too hot, what's going to happen is it's going to cause your rats to explode. If they heat up too quickly, again, they will explode and they will basically just turn into, it's disgusting but it's true, melting lumps of flesh. So definitely just keep your temperature hot or on the warm side of things, okay? Next we're going to be getting to the rats. Now it is important that your rats are squishy. As you can see, my rats are very squishy. You'll be able to feel that yourselves, so just make sure that when you touch them, that all of them, the whole entire body, feels cool still, but nice and, again, squishy. The reason for this is if you have a frozen rat, what's going to happen is when it reaches your snake's digestive tract, it will actually burn and ulcerify or cause ulcers inside the digestive tract. Now those ulcers will get infected. There's no question about it. And this is a fatal, well, completely fatal for your snake. It can be fixed if caught, which is very hard to catch. And the only way to, well, cure it is to go and have an invasive surgery. So make sure that you are feeding rats that are completely thawed through. How I do this is you have, well, I put them in the fridge, but for anything that's larger than a weanling, make sure that it's in the fridge for at least 12 hours, maybe even longer. And weanlings can be in there for about 8 to 10 hours before they are soft. At least that's what I found in my experience. It might be different for you. And what is equally important is please make sure that your rats are not too hot or haven't been sitting out for too long. They do harbor bacteria, and that is the last thing you want, is to give your snake a rat that may potentially get it sick because it is filled with bacteria. So now I'm going to separate each one of these into their own bag, just so I don't have one sitting in there too long while I feed another snake another one. So we'll get to that in just a second. Alright, so normally I would heat the rat inside the water, inside the snake room. Just because I feel like it gets the scent flowing in there a little bit more, just kind of gets the snakes ready to eat right away. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to just show you how I do it out here. Now it's hard for you to see, but the rat is actually underneath the water, if you can see the water line right there up against the tongs. I have the tongs on there so that the head and most of the body, as much as possible, is submerged underneath the water. This is important because you want the rat to be heated just like it would if it were alive. Basically what you're trying to do is trick your snake into thinking that this rat is alive. Now I've heard people say that their ball pythons will actually eat frozen thawed food that's just like room temperature. I've never tried it with my snakes, and I don't think I'm going to. I know I'm not, because I personally do not think that it's safe. If something is room temperature, it has been sitting outside for way too long. It's been sitting out in the in temperatures that could actually cause it to harbor bacteria like we talked about, and I do not feel like it's worth the risk of my snake getting sick. That is just my personal opinion. I feel like this way is much easier, faster, and safer for my snakes. Alright guys, just fed one of our secret project snakes and I'm about to feed this boy. Just wanted to show you this. This is quite normal for what would be going on once they get a whiff of a rat or any sort of prey item. They'll come out of their hides, they'll look around. So if you have any shy snakes, like the secret project of ours was, make sure you feed them first, alright? You don't want them coming out, seeing you, and then possibly having a day where they don't eat then. Alright, so first up is our boy Monty. Normally I would not feed with the lights on, but he's a really good feeder, so I'm not worried about him possibly not taking the meal because the lights are on. So here we go, just a little wiggle. he goes. Now I'm going to scoot him out of the water just because it's not unusual for ball pythons who grab their food in the water to actually let go. So there's one and done. Here comes the next one. So the last snake tonight that we're going to feed is Croak. Yes, she is right down here, and so as Monty's above her, I've put just this little covering right here so he can't see my heat signature and he doesn't get too stressed out thinking that something is out there, possibly hunting him, and so on. So that's what that is for. Now with some of my more shy feeders, like Echidna, as you can see down there, that is her name tag, we have things like, I'm going to try to hold it, just like a normal lid, and I will just take that and lean it up against the cage like so, and she actually can't see past that, and that will just help give her a little bit of security before feed, after feed, that nothing is out there, nothing is trying to get her, as long as there aren't any loud slams or sort of heavy vibrations. They should feel pretty secure, and you won't have to risk a regurgitation or possibly a misfeed. Now you guys might be thinking, well, how do I know when to feed my ball python? Well, personally, I feed every week or every 5 days, depending on if I'm breeding that snake, if it's a pet, if it's male and female will also depend on the size of prey item I'm feeding, and obviously the size of the snake depends on the size of the prey item I'm feeding. So I'll pop up a picture that I go off of. It's not my picture, I'm not going to take credit for it, but this is a photograph that I use to help me decide when I should bump up food and when I should feed. Obviously use your own discretion and choose for your animals because you know them better than this picture does. So feel free to pause the video here for a second if you like. Here's the photo. And if you're trying to breed a female, make sure you present food quite often. You don't want to get her fat, but you don't want her to think, oh, there's not enough food in my surrounding, I'm not going to lay eggs. And they actually can do that. They can decide there's not enough prey items around, I'm not going to introduce my babies or my genetics into the world because they won't survive. It'd just be a waste of energy for me. Now, if your ball python has gone off feed, I suggest that you take a hard look at the link in the description. You can either go to our website or go to the Husbandry Link. Now, this link will tell you what your tub or tank should be like, what the temperatures, humidity should be, and honestly, if you fix those things, it's more than likely that your snake will start eating. Some other things you can do to help is, if it's new, don't feed it for a week, leave it alone for a week, don't handle before feed, do not handle 24 to 48 hours after feed, okay? Feed at night, and make sure the food is warmer than your own temperature. I like to do 100, but 100 degrees that is, but some people vary on that. That's just what I have good luck with my snakes with. But if you guys have any other questions, please just let me know in the comments below, Facebook, hit up our Facebook page with comments, and message me on Instagram, on Facebook, anything. I will be more than willing to help you guys research. That's what I'm here for. I love this. This is my hobby. This is our hobby. We just want to be there for those because we know how hard it can be. We all went through the growing pains. No one was born an expert, all right? So don't worry. There's no shame in asking for help. All right. So now we're going to try to feed this majestic lady. Hopefully she is on the right side of her tank, not the left. No, girlie, got a wrap for you. There she goes. And I'll just take you guys down there to her. She is an amazing eater. Eater? I don't know if that's a great way to portray that, but she's never skipped a meal for us. Even in shed, she's just a beast. And especially now that she is building follicles, she is more than willing to take food, which is always nice in case one of our others decides to skip a meal, a live meal. We have a garbage disposal right now. So I didn't really cover live feedings. If it's a new snake and I've waited a week, I try to feed and that doesn't work, then that's okay. I just wait another week, and if it eats, then awesome. If it doesn't, I will try a live feed, and that goes for anything. The day after. So if she was supposed to eat on the 18th and she didn't, then I would give her a live rat on the 19th. And that goes for any of our snakes. Now sometimes they don't take it, so that's fine. Just feed it off to someone else that hasn't had a meal yet, so I always try to stagger that. But normally they will take it, and it's just no big deal. Now, I know some people might be thinking, well, you have clutter in her cage. Aren't you afraid that she's going to get that in her mouth when you're feeding? At first, yeah, I was. Now, I'm more confident. I know that, you know, they're smart creatures themselves. Accidents do happen, so it's important to watch. But even if she did bite a leaf or any part of the clutter, I would just assist in getting it out of her mouth if she needed to, or just watch her eat or check up on her. I'm not worried about it at all. I'm not worried about the aspen bedding getting in her mouth. Oops, sorry. It's shredded, and the snakes can actually digest that. People think a lot of times like, oh my gosh, my snake has eaten some bedding. It is just going crazy, because they kind of do. They rub their mouth everywhere. They kind of shake their heads, have their mouth agape, and it looks scary, but really they're just uncomfortable because they have aspen bedding in their mouth while they're trying to eat. It is not harmful to them as long as they can digest the bedding, which they can. So, again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment, message us on our social media accounts. We would love to hear from you guys. Make sure to check our website. We keep our pairings and our clutches public, as long as they're not a secret project, so you guys can always be sure to see what's coming up next for us. We have a lot of information on our website for beginners and pros alike. If you guys are curious about something, go ahead and check that out. We'll be having more and more documents up as I have the time to do that. I am a full-time college student, but this is my hobby, so this is what I do in my free time, and I'll try to get more done as soon as possible. So if there's something you'd like to see, or something you have questions on, seriously hit me up and I will get on top of that. Alright guys, so thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you think this video was worth it, leave a comment if you have any questions, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Alright, you guys have an awesome night.